All right, thank you, Tony. New details on a Woonsocket woman charged with driving drunk with 3 children in the car for the second time in 8 days.
41-year-old Leah Duran was arraigned today, and tonight we're learning more about what police say happened at a Warwick beach and why a judge says Duran's behavior is out of control.
Eyewitness News reporter Eric Halpern joins us now live from District Court in Warwick, where Duran faced a judge today. Eric?
Mike and Caroline, Duran is now being held without bail. She's considered a violator of bail from the first time police say she did this just less than 2 weeks ago. 41-year-old Leah Duran emotional in front of a judge Friday morning as he explains why he is not releasing her, saying he's concerned for the safety of her kids and the public.
There's ways to say it. One is she's out of control.
It's the second time in about 8 days the mother of 3 has been arrested on drunk driving charges with kids in the car.
In a more dignified way, you'd say that she's, at this point, just unable to help herself.
The most recent incident happened Thursday in Warwick. According to police, just before 4 in the afternoon, as Duran was trying to leave the Oakland Beach seawall area, they got a 911 call. Shortly after, police say they saw Duran driving erratically on Oakland Beach Ave. They stopped her and arrested her on suspicion of drunk driving.
Officers observed that she had bloodshot, watery eyes and her speech was slurred.
Officers also found her 3 kids were in the car, the youngest being 7 months old. They're now in the custody of the Department of Children, Youth and Families. A similar incident with Duran happened just last week on July 11th. Police say she was driving drunk in Lincoln Woods State Park with 5 kids in the car. Today in court, the Woonsocket woman explained 2 of those were her friends. Other parents finding it shocking.
That's kind of crazy for it to keep happening over and over.
And Duran's next scheduled court date is July 31st. Now, just this past legislative session, a law was created that stiffens the penalties for driving drunk with kids in the car. Coming up new at 6, we look at what punishments Duran could face under that new legislation. Live in Warwick, I'm Eric Halpern, Eyewitness News.
Now at 6, new details on the woman arrested twice in less than 2 weeks for allegedly driving under the influence with children in her van.
And she could face charges under a relatively new state law. Leah Duran's first arrest happened 10 days ago at Lincoln Woods State Park. This is her mugshot from the Rhode Island State Police.
And this morning we learned Duran was arrested again, this time in Warwick.
Eyewitness News reporter Eric Halpern joins us now live from Warwick with what he's learned. Eric?
Mike and Caroline, the 41-year-old mother of 3 is now being held without bail. Under old state law, driving under the influence with a child under 13 in the car came with a sentence of up to a year in prison. Now, the punishments for that type of behavior are heavier. With her hands over her face, Leah Duran faces a judge at Kent County Court Friday morning, listening to why he's ordering her held without bail. She was arrested in Warwick yesterday on Oakland Beach Ave, charged with drunk driving with kids in the car. She was arrested on similar charges just 8 days earlier at Lincoln Woods State Park.
The second one comes this quick, this close together. I think I have to act to protect the public and 3 children.
Warwick police say they saw her driving erratically around 4 Thursday afternoon. They stopped her and eventually arrested her. Inside the car with her 3 young kids.
Kind of shocking, it's unbelievable.
Prior to the most recent legislative session, a conviction of a DUI with a child under 13 in the car came with an additional sentence of up to a year in prison. Now, under newly signed legislation, a first conviction also comes with a license suspension and up to a $1,000 fine. Any additional convictions become felonies with up to 5 years in prison and up to $5,000 in fines, plus more punishments. However, according to the Attorney General's office, Duran is not subject to the penalties of subsequent convictions because she was not convicted of the first offense at the time of the second. And from the most recent arrest, Duran is also facing charges of refusing to submit to a chemical test and operating with a suspended license. Her kids are now in DCYF custody. Her next court date is scheduled for July 31st. Live in Warwick, I'm Eric Halpern, Eyewitness News.